Welcome to Popular Lessons. Master your IGCSE ICT and get those top grades. Crack the code to success. Subscribe now.
Hello guys, after a long time, welcome back to Popular Lessons YouTube channel. Today's lesson is Chapter 2 IGCSE ICT Input and Output Devices. This is a lesson about how data enters and leaves a computer system. So first of all, I have break the lesson into three parts. Section 2.1, which is input devices, and then section 2.2, direct data entry devices, and section 2.3 as output devices. I'll go through them briefly. And remember, all topics are examinable. Know the definitions, examples, and always know about the advantages and disadvantages because you need to compare that in the exam. So, moving on to input devices, we have input devices. Input devices are the manual input devices that, and also sensors are input devices which you can use to enter data to a computer. So, input devices are used to enter data into a computer. The processor then process this data after you input the data into the computer. So there are two main categories of input devices. There are manual input devices and there are direct data entry devices. Manual ones are a person must operate them to enter. The direct data entry devices, data entered without the human having to input it manually. As I told you before, knowing the advantages and disadvantages of each device is essential for your exams because you need to write them in your answer. So the first input device is keyboards and keypads. We all know and we all have seen keyboards. So some advantages of that is standard QWERTY layout, everyone familiar with it. People quickly become familiar with the layout. Language independent, most languages use them. Reliable and widely available. When you input data using a keyboard, it's more reliable and you can widely available. Disadvantages would be easy to make typing errors when entering data, can cause RSI or repetitive strain injury if used for longer periods, and different keyboard layouts need for different languages, cannot be used to input diagrams or images directly. Then we have pointing devices, another type of input device. Mouse is a pointing device, touchpad is a pointing device, tracker ball is a pointing device, joystick, and driving wheels, and the famous one is touch screens. So each of these has a disadvantage and advantage. So a mouse detects a movement on a flat surface, buttons left and right click. It is fast and intuitive, but it needs a flat surface and it can cause RSI. A touchpad is a flat area built into laptop's finger move pointer, no extra hardware, less precise than a mouse. Tracker ball has a ball moved by hand. Device stays stationary, good for disabled users, no flat surface needed, but it's very hard for fine control. Joysticks, pivot stick used in games, aircraft, wheelchairs, natural for movement control. Harder fine pointer control than mouse. Driving wheels used for racing simulators and includes pedals. Accurate movement control, force feedback. Single purpose only and expensive is a disadvantage. The famous one is touch screen. It acts as a both input and output device because you can use the touch screen to input something into the computer and have an output on the screen. There are two types of touch screens. First one is resistive and the other one is capacitive. And I'll go through them in the next slide. An advantage of this touch screen is it is intuitive and space saving, not good for large data entry and hygiene concerns. So, as I told you before, touch screens have two different types. First one is resistive touch screen. It is sensitive to pressure from any object, detect change in voltage at point of contact, works with gloves, less precise. And then we have capacitive touch screens, sensitive to static electricity from bare finger only. Sensors at four corners detect touch points, more precise, used in smartphones and tablets. So, what do you think that most of the modern computers or modern touchscreens use? Both types are used as information kiosks in public places, train stations, supermarkets. The advantages would be they are intuitive, space saving because they have both input and output combined, cost effective for self service. Disadvantage would be not suitable for inputting large data amounts because it can give you wrong inputs. Hygiene issues. Imagine there's COVID 19 and then people use the same screen so they can face hygiene issues. Disabled users may struggle sometimes. So I'm going to give you an exam tip. Touchscreen is both an input device and output device. So in the exam, you should be know about this. Then we have input devices, scanners, cameras, and microphones. So we have flatbed scanner. It's an input device which convert hard copy to text or images into digital data using reflected light onto a light sensitive circuit. They are accurate, digitize the old material, scanned images can be very large files sometimes. That's a disadvantage. Digital camera is another input device. Lens focuses light onto millions of light sensitive pixels stores on memory card or HDD. Immediate preview you can see and easy for editing. But a disadvantage would be memory card may fill up or become corrupted. And then we have, as digital cameras, we have video camera or webcam, records moving images. Webcam connects directly to computer for live video. It records audio plus video used for CCTVs as well these days. But a disadvantage would be larger file size, need expensive editing softwares for that. Then we have microphone, which is another input device. It converts sound waves to digital data used for dictation, voice commands, video conferencing, and it is useful for disabled users. And microphone disadvantage would be cheap microphones give poor quality audio. So you guys need to be careful about that. Then we have sensors. A sensor detects and responds to input from the environment. There are many different sensors. There are light sensors, temperature, pressure, and motion. So a temperature sensor reads surrounding temperature. It can be used in a washing machine, greenhouses, heating system, reaction vessels. Pressure sensors measure pressure used in burglar alarm systems, automatic doors. Light sensor measuring light level used in burglar alarms, beam. Automatic car headlights and camera. Motion sensors are there to detect movement used in many different security systems and automatic lighting. Sensors are more reliable than humans. No forgetting to take readings, more accurate, can go dangerous places. Advantages and disadvantages of sensors. Advantages are more reliable than human. The sensor readings are more reliable than human. Won't forget to take readings just like a human can do. More accurate than human reading, can operate dangerous environments, can operate 24/7 without rest, can trigger automatic responses immediately. Disadvantage would be digital sensors need power source to work. If power is cut or batteries die, sensor stops working. If sensors malfunction remotely, users may not know. Can be expensive to install and maintain. Then there are other type of input devices: light pen, stylus, and graphics tablet. Light pen is a old version which use light sensitive input device used an old CRT monitor to draw, select, replaced by both touchscreen and stylus these days. So stylus is a pen shaped device used on touchscreens, allows precise input for drawing, handwriting, annotations. Work on both resistive and capacitive screen stylus. And then we have the modern version which is like graphic tablets where flat pad that senses the position of stylus as it moves. It converts drawing strokes into digital images directly. Surface treated as the computer screen. Top left of tablet is equal to top left of the screen. The advantages and disadvantages would be, first I'll go with the advantages. They are easy to use, accurate for positioning, ergonomic, lightweight, no moving parts at all. Disadvantages will be light pens only work on some screens because they are old, can block the view, not good for basic tasks. Now we have come to the second part of the chapter 2.2, direct data entry, inputting data without manual human intervention. So method allow large amount of similar data to be entered directly without a person typing, used in commercial business applications where speed and accuracy are critical. Direct data entry devices, uh, I'll give some examples. So, first one is magnetic strip reader, chip and pin reader, RFIDs, OCR, which is optical character recognition, OMR, optical mark recognition, and barcodes and QR code scanners. Magnetic strip readers have advantages and disadvantages. So advantages would be simple for people to use, no training needed, very inexpensive to produce, fast data entry, just swipe the card. You just have to swipe the card. No data entry errors, all are stored on card. Data on the card can be altered if necessary. The disadvantages would be very small storage capacity on the strip. Data can be destroyed by magnetic fields. Actually, a strong magnetic field can destroy the data inside it. Insecure criminals can obtain card and readers writers easily. Card must be physically present, cannot use over the internet. Chip and pin reader is another direct data entry method. uh, Advantages would be information is more secure, chip is hard to clone than a strip. Chip can hold more information than a magnetic strip, can be wired, brought to you at restaurant or shop. Chip can generate and store transaction details. Each transaction is encrypted for extra security. A disadvantage of a chip and pin reader would be people can be careless with pins. Shoulder surfing, we call it shoulder surfing. You cannot forget your pin. Card useless until new one arrives. If you forget your pin, requires a working terminal to process payments. And RFID readers. Advantages would be chips don't need to be precisely positioned on scanner. Work within a few meters of the scanner. All items in a supermarket trolley can be read at once with the use of RFID reader. Data can be written to RFID tags as well as uh, they can be read. Used for tracking items, animals, and luggages. Disadvantage of RFID readers would be tags can be read without authentication. There's a huge security risk. RFID scanning can be affected by nearby electrical devices. Range limited about 3 meters. The range. Then RFID. What does this RFID means? I told you about the disadvantages and advantages. Now we will look at what are they actually. RFID are radio frequency identifications. An RFID device has three elements: a scanning antenna, a decoder, and an RFID tag itself. There are two types of RFID tags: passive tags, which uses more power provided by the reader to transmit data, and other one is active tags, which is powered by their own battery and also has a longer range. Applications that the RFIDs are used are supermarket stock controls, contactless payments, animal tagging, passport chips, luggage tracking. When triggered by a signal from the reader, the tag transmits its data back to the reader. That's how RFID works. So moving on, we have OCR vs OMR, optical character recognition and optical mark recognition. And I have given you what are the differences and what are the advantages and disadvantages. First, we will look at OCR. It scans printed text into a computer. Software recognizes each character by the shape of that symbol. Advantage would be fast data entry of hard text copies. Avoid typing errors, cheaper than retyping everything. Disadvantage would be not always reliable with strange fonts. Poor handwriting be cannot be recognized. Must be manually checked if 100% accuracy needed, and it can cause time consuming. Most of the time, OCR is used for reading passports, bank statements, especially bank checks, and historical documents. Then we have OMR, optical mark recognition. Scanner reads shaded marks on paper. Software uses position to determine the answer of the chooser. So, one advantage of this optical mark recognition would be they are extremely fast compared to OCR and accurate than humans checking. Disadvantages would be marks must be correctly positioned. Dirty marks may be misread or maybe not read at all. Can only read marks and cannot read text. So, optical mark recognition won't be able to read text. So, applications they are used are like to check multiple choice exams. Election ballot papers, school registered, can be used to read by OMR. Then we have barcode readers, something that we are more familiar with. So advantages would be they are quick and easy to enter data. It saves a lot of time and also enters data very accurate. A human can make mistake, but a barcode can't. Only price data needs updating in the database, not the barcode. Update stock control automatically. They are helpful for updating the stock control automatically. Then talking about the disadvantages, this can be little bit expensive to set up at the first glance. Then barcodes must be undamaged to be read correctly, because if the barcode can is damaged, you can't read and get the data in that barcode. The barcode only holds limited information. It does not hold the price of a item. Then we have uh, we will see how barcodes work. A barcode is a set of short parallel lines in a contrasting color, usually black and white. Dark lines are thick, medium or thin. Pairs represent digits from 0 to 9. Barcode reader shines a laser and read the reflected pattern. A typical supermarket product barcode encodes country of origin number, manufacturing number, item number, and check digit. As I told you before, the price is not stored in the barcode. It is looked up in the database after scanning the barcode. QR code is a similar type, but QR code, which is the longer term, quick responses are 2D barcodes, store 100 times more data than a typical barcode. They are readable by smartphones as well. QR code scanners, advantages and disadvantages. Can store lots of information without writing it down. Can be used for anything by anyone. Scan from any direction, less risk of interference. Readable by smartphones as well as desktop scanners. Anyone can create a QR code using free softwares available online. Then we have disadvantages of QR code scanners. They need a smartphone with a camera and install app to read. Still relatively new, not everyone knows what they represent. Relies on the QR code being correct and undamaged. If the QR code is also damaged, it won't function properly, just like the barcode. We have come to the third part of the lesson, which is output devices. This is about how computers communicate results back to the user. There are many types of output devices. Output devices are required so that the results of a computer processing can be displayed to users. One output device is a monitor. There are different types of screen types. So there are CRT monitors, TFT monitors, CRT, cathode ray tube. They are old, bulky, rarely used today ones. They are from the old days. TFT, thin film transistor, and LCD. They are flat, light, wall mountable, less they give less eye strain and they consume very low power. Then we have the most common today screen, which is LED backlit LCD. Then we have touch screens, which act as a both input and output device, as I told you before. Monitors display the operating system and software interface for user interaction. Then we have printers as an output device. There are four types that you need to know for your exams. The first one is laser printer. It uses laser to draw on drum, tone ink pressed onto the paper. High quality, fast and cheaper page, and it is long term. The disadvantage would be laser printers are a little bit expensive and toner cartridges are toxic. So you need to carefully use it. Then we have inkjet printers. It puts tiny dots of ink from nozzles as print head moves. So they give high quality color printouts, relatively cheaper than laser printer, and most of the houses have inkjet printers. Disadvantage would be the ink cartridges can be expensive and the printing process can be slow. Ink can smear if it is wet. Then we have dot matrix printer. Pins press inked ribbon against paper to form dots. Cheap to run, works on dirty environments, continuous paper. They can be slow than laser and inkjet printer and can be also more noisy and can give you a poor quality with limited colors. And then the other type of printer is, or the output device is, the 3D printers, which are highly famous these days. The 3D printers builds 3D solid object layer by layer from CAD data using resin or plastic. They can print complex shapes used in medicine. And one of the disadvantages would be they can be very expensive, slow, and high energy use. Then we have projectors and plotters. Multimedia projectors projects an image from a computer on a large surface. They are ideal for large audience presentations, can be portable or fixed. Disadvantage would be they relies on expensive bulbs. If moved while hot, lamp can break. That's a disadvantage. Multimedia projectors are used in classrooms, conference rooms, and cinemas. Plotters are devices that draws graphics using pens or paper. Pens raised, lowered, and moved across the paper. Advantage would be they can be very accurate on large sheets, can print on different materials, example wood and plastic. But the thing is, they takes up lot of room, slower than printers, used for CAD drawings, architectural plans, blueprints, and technical drawings. Speakers and actuators are another type of output devices. Speakers and headphones convert digital signals via DAC into sound waves used for multimedia accessibility, screen readers for blind users, dictation playback. Advantage would be useful for accessibility output to everyone in the room. Everyone in the room can hear, not always ideal if you are using a speaker. But headphones are personal speakers, which is ideal for translation, privacy. Then we have actuators. An actuator is a device that moves or controls a mechanism in response to computer signal. For an example, electric motor, pump, heater, LED, or buzzer or bell. Used in mostly washing machines, drum motor heater, car park barriers, robot arms, greenhouses. In a control sensor system, sensor detects a change, then computer decides what to do and actuator responds with the whatever the thing that needs to do. So we have come to the end of the lesson. Before that, I have make a good summary about the whole chapter. There are many different input and output devices that can be used with the computer system. Data can be input by hand or directly to the computer without any manual intervention. To manually input, we use manual input devices such as keyboards, pointing devices are mouse, touchpad trackballs, joysticks, driving wheels, and then touch screens, scanners, sensors, cameras, and microphones. Direct data entry devices, which uses to enter data without human intervention. They are magnetic strip readers, chip and pin reader, RFID, OCR, OMR, barcode readers, QR scanners. Output devices are monitors, projectors, printers such as laser printer, inkjet printer, dot matrix printer, 3D printer. If you still can't understand what each of these does, go back to the slides and read, then you will be able to write them in the exams. And then the plotters and speakers and actuators are some other types of output devices. So advantages and disadvantages of each must be weighted before selecting the best device for dress specific use. So that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new about input and output devices. Hopefully keep subscribed. I will upload every week and see you again in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and leave a comment. And subscribe so you never miss an update.